Welcome. I'm Camille, and this is Money Heart, where we explore the emotional side of money. My guest today is Brandy Valentine, Doctor of Acupuncture and Chinese Medicine. We're going to be discussing treating money emotions with acupressure. So, welcome, Brandy.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, glad to have you. I know you've been in practice for about 17 years and you specialize in emotions, fertility, and pain. Kind of tell us how you got started and what attracted you to this.
Okay. Well, whenever I was in college, I got sick, and the only option at the time, per the medical community, was medication that I would have to take for the rest of my life. And I was 18-ish, and I thought, well, that's a long time to be taking medication, and I couldn't afford it because I was a college student. So I started trying everything that anybody told me to try. I mean, I tried everything. And what happened was, over the course of 4 years, I got off the medication, and all I really needed to do to get off the medication was change my diet. And then I drank some aloe vera juice a couple of times a day. And those two things got me off my medication. And I thought, that's crazy that it took me 4 years to find this, and it was so simple and nobody told me about it. And I just want to teach other people that they have some control over their health. And in the midst of all of that, I found acupuncture and I fell in love with it. And that's the short version of how I got to be doing what I'm doing now.
That does seem like a really easy fix for something that you were taking so many medications for. That's amazing. Yeah. Okay. So when we first started chatting about doing this, I mentioned emotions and you said, oh, I love emotions. So what's got you kind of excited in that, and how does it relate to what you do?
Well, in Chinese medicine, we don't separate emotions and the physical and the spiritual. We think of everything as one. So you might think, well, if I stub my toe, that is purely physical. But no, really, it's not. If you stub your toe, it creates pain, and that creates an emotion. And if you stub it hard enough, then you're going to have difficulty walking, and you're going to have pain when you do basically anything. And that really gets to you emotionally as well. And we think in Chinese medicine, we think that everything is associated with an emotion and that they can't be separated. So there's no separate mind, body, spirit. It's all one thing, and you are that one thing. And I love that about Chinese medicine. And so I really, no matter what I'm working on with acupuncture or Chinese medicine, I'm always focusing on the emotions because they're just so important.
Wow.
And fun.
And fun. And the fun side. That's right. Yeah. So what emotions do you find in your practice are the most strongly connected with money, that we might want to change or work on with some of your techniques?
Okay. So in Chinese medicine, we have 5 emotions, and the 3 that I feel are most closely associated with money are grief, fear, and anger. And under anger, there's things like irritability and frustration. We think of that as all one emotion. So we'll talk about those 3 things, the fear, anger, and grief associated with money.
Yeah. So I guess it's fear of, I don't think anybody really fears having too much money. Maybe they do. Maybe they do. Actually, that's possible. They might feel out of balance with their surroundings or people that care about them if they get too much. But mostly the fear is usually if they have too little, right?
Yes, or the fear of losing it, or the fear of not having enough later on. We have a lot of fears about money in general.
Right.
So I think it could go a lot of different ways.
Yeah. And then the anger side, is that usually probably similar things, not having it or losing it?
Mm-hmm. Whenever you're living paycheck to paycheck, especially as where we are right now, it's so hard to be okay with every single thing you work hard for going straight to bills or going, straight to food and not having anything extra to play with or have fun with. And so I think that causes some anger. Also, I think there's anger associated with pay grades. Like if you find out somebody you work with makes more than you, but you do more than they do, there's a lot of anger and frustration that comes along with that as well.
Right. Yeah, I definitely see that pretty regularly. And I suppose right now with things that happen in the market and people lose money or whatever, maybe they get a little angry or frustrated or scared about all of those kinds of things. So what are your tips for us if we want to work on this, or if we want to use acupressure and some Chinese medicine techniques at home to try to relieve some of these intense emotions that we might be having around money?
Do you want me to just talk about the anger, or?
You can pick any of the three that you wanted to share and go for it. So yeah, if you want to do anger first, sure.
Okay, so with anger, we think of that as liver qi stagnation. So I'm simplifying this very much.
Right. You mean we can't get all of your training in like 5 minutes?
Yeah, so don't take it too seriously, but
okay.
But to give it a name, we call it liver qi stagnation. And it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with your liver organ. We look at the organs as both the organ function, or the organ and the function of the organ. So, so when we're talking about liver channel, we're talking about the function and the organ. And you can have issues without having any actual physiological issues. So anyway, so for anger, what we would do is there is a point, it's called large intestine 4, and it's in between your thumb and your first finger, and it's what most people know of to massage for headaches.
Oh,
and then there's another point on your foot in the exact same place, and it's called liver 3. So those 2 points together help release qi stagnation. So you can massage those points.
Okay, so I'm going right here. Thumb, is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And on the web there. Yeah.
Right there on the web between the thumb and forefinger. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And the same place on the foot. So in between the big toe and second toe, there's like a soft spot, and you would do it there too.
Does it matter which, left or right?
Both sides.
Both sides. Okay. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then something that you can use to increase the stimulation of the acupressure is essential oils, and that's something a lot of people have. And I try to just give oils that are very safe, but you always want to test these oils first before you use them. But for the liver qi stagnation, on these points, I would recommend lavender, clary sage, and bergamot, or bergamot, depending on how you want to pronounce that one.
Right.
There's also something called a Qigong liver cleanse, and you can look that up online. It's pretty simple, but it helps a lot for these emotions, to clear these emotions.
Okay.
And then you want me to go on with fear?
Yeah, go for it. Absolutely.
Okay.
So fear would be the next one.
Fear is the next one.
Okay.
And in Western medicine, fear affects the adrenals because it makes adrenaline. And it's kind of the same in Chinese medicine. We think of fear as coming from the kidney channel. So you would use kidney points for fear. Some of my favorite and easiest one is, where your tendon is on the back of your ankle. Mm-hmm. People call it the Achilles tendon.
Yeah. So
inside of there is a soft spot, and you can just squeeze that Achilles tendon, and you're actually stimulating a kidney point. And some of the essential oils you can use on there are patchouli and cedarwood. And you just massage it, and you could do that every day if you want to. And the fear is fearing the loss of money, or fearing if you'll have enough money. If you feel yourself feeling that a lot, then try that acupressure and adding those oils, and see if you notice a difference. It's easy, and it's fun, and it smells good.
Yeah, it helps when it smells good and when it's pretty simple, assuming you can reach your ankles. And and again, does it matter which side? Okay. No. Were you about to give a tip for how to reach your ankles?
If you can't reach your ankles, you can go behind your knees. So side and behind your knees is also kidney channel.
Okay. I love it. That's cool. Okay. And I learned more new things. All right. So what was our third one?
The third one is grief.
Okay.
And in Chinese medicine, grief affects the lungs. So you notice when you lose somebody, it's hard to breathe, and you get like this really stuck feeling in your chest. We think that all grief affects you in the same way. And the grief with the way grief and money are associated is that we see grief as a loss of anything. So a loss of how you thought your relationship would be, or a loss of how, like, you know, some people be like, by the time I'm 30, I'm going to be a millionaire. Well, if you're 30, now you're not a millionaire, you can have grief over that. And so, and a lot of people do that. They'll set themselves money goals that are ridiculous, and then they're sad when they don't get there.
I have a job right now where I make $30,000 a year, but I'm going to be a millionaire by next year. Yeah, I can see how that might not track.
And we all probably do. Well, you probably don't do that, but you know, most of us
not anymore. I used to. I'm just like everybody else. I used to do that. Yeah, you got to put some steps in place if you actually want to hit that goal. And that, you know, it's interesting because that you brought that up, because when people are making those kind of goals, it's like, okay, well, do you have to go through 100,000 in order to get to $1 million?
Yeah,
you do. So how about we set 100,000 as a goal, or 50,000 as a goal, and then once we hit that, we can bump it up, and then we'll work our way up to that higher goal instead of just starting with the high goal. Yeah, right. Different way to do it. But you're absolutely right, because then you don't end up with the grief. If you put it slightly above where you think you can make it, but to a point that you can actually get to, you get there and you reinforce that success instead of hitting that grief of, I didn't make it and I'm a total failure and I don't know how to do anything, which is so easy for us to spiral into.
Yep, easy spiral.
I think I've been on that slide. Don't they have that in every corner?
Yeah, I think so. So the way that we treat grief is through the lung and the large intestine channel in Chinese medicine. So we talked about why the lung channel, but why the large intestine channel? And it's because the large intestine channel is about letting go. So it's easy to grieve over something that you haven't let go. And it's hard to grieve over something that you have let go of, right? Because it's done.
Absolutely.
Gone.
Yeah.
So we work on both of those things. We work on your lungs, and then we work on the large intestine. And so for the large intestine, you can use that same point on your hand in the web of your finger, or around your elbow, on the outside of your arm. If you kind of like massage around in there, if you're having issues with this, you will have a knot or a bump or a sore spot in that area. And that's really the one that I recommend for the grief.
Okay, so for the people that are only on audio and not seeing the video, so you're going to go kind of just a little bit below your elbow on the outside of the arm and see if there's a knot in there.
Yeah.
And that's
just kind of feel around.
Okay. Yeah, I totally found a sore spot. I don't know what that's about, but it's there. Let me try the other arm. Yeah, that one's sore too.
So that means you have some stagnation in your large intestine channel. And large intestine can be, you know, digestion and bowels and things like that. But it's also about the emotion of letting go. And it could be something very simple. Like if you wanted to get a certain amount of things done this morning that you didn't get done, that you can have some letting go issues with that. So it could be something really simple, or it could be something deep that needs worked on. But either way, it doesn't matter. If you massage it, then you're going to stimulate the channel, and you're going to help the channel move that junk out of there.
So when everybody sees me massaging my arm, you guys will know that there's something I didn't get done today that I wanted to get done. That's like every day. that happens a lot. And you know, right now I have my shirt that I sleep in has a big giant hole in it, and so I'm gonna have to get rid of it, but it's super comfy and soft, and And I was feeling sad about that this morning because I'm like, I think I have to say goodbye to this shirt, but I don't want to say goodbye to this shirt. I loves it.
You're grieving the loss of your shirt.
I am. I really am, because I will wear those things out if it's a comfy one. Yeah, but it's almost to an embarrassing size of hole now, so I really do have to let go of the shirt.
Let it go.
I don't want to.
Yeah, let it go.
So which oils did you say oils go with this one?
So some of the oils you can use are cajeput, eucalyptus radiata, and sweet orange.
Okay.
And you rub it on that one point that I showed you, and then there's another point on the inside. If you just rub it on the inside of your wrist, you'll hit that point. So, just put it on the inside of your wrist. And you don't want to, when you use these essential oils, you don't want to rub them all the way in. You want to kind of hold it, put it on there and kind of hold it in and give it time to absorb in the skin.
Okay. Yeah.
And I think that's it as far as the grief goes as well. Oh, deep breathing. Forgot about that.
Oh,
deep breathing and keeping your bowels regular are two other ways to help clear grief from the body.
Okay. Right, because we got the lung piece. So
the lung piece.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, that is really cool. I've like made notes while we were talking because I'm going, okay, I got to remember this so I can test it out later. And that was just like 3 small things that we can all start doing today. So I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah. Do you have anything else that you wanted to share with us or tell us about?
I don't think so. I think that's it.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you very much to Brandy for being on our show today. We've had a wonderful time getting to learn a little tiny piece of acupressure and how we can apply that to ourselves in order to relieve some of our emotions regarding money. If you want to know more about her or find out more information on Brandy Valentine, you can check out her website, okacuherbs.org. That's okacuherbs.org. She practices in Oklahoma, but I'm guessing, do you do some telemedicine type stuff too?
Yes, but it's all Oklahoma based. I can answer questions, but I can't do anything very personal from out of state.
Okay.
So, but I'm happy to answer questions. I just can't do treatment type things.
Awesome. So no treatment out of state, but definitely can answer questions, and there's information on your website. So plenty of info there. So again, that was okacuherbs.org. I want to thank all of our listeners and viewers for tuning in today. I've been your host, Camille Diaz. This show is sponsored by Serenity Financial, a 5 Rings financial agency specializing in financial education, living benefits, and guaranteed lifetime income. I want to share our money mantra for today, which is, I feel great about money.